Hey guys, welcome to Flat Top King. Hey, today is all about that chicken Parmesan sandwich. How do we elevate it? Homemade bread. You guys, stay tuned. All right, today is about scratch, not really many shortcuts. And to do that, we got to make our bread. I just made a batch yesterday for my daughter for the first time, taught her all about how to measure, how to watch out for the yeast, how to knead the dough. All that stuff was fantastic for me as a dad, so I loved it. So today we're gonna do that for you guys. So really quickly, so this has time to proof and all that stuff and get this recipe going, this is what we got. We got some flour and some salt. We have 115 degree water, which is kind of like the sweet spot. It says anywhere between 110. I think it's cooled down a minute. We've been outside. And we got some sugar. So we're gonna add the water to the sugar. Equally distribute the yeast onto the water. We're gonna let that bloom. Give it about 10 to 15 minutes. You're definitely gonna see a difference in how it reacts. All right, as you can see there, our yeast is just about ready. So to our flour mix, we're gonna add 2 nice tablespoons, a heavy porous fine of olive oil, good olive oil. All right, so everything's incorporated. We're gonna knead it for about 5 to 7 minutes on low. If it needs a little bit of flour because it's not pulling away from the bowl, I'll add it. You don't add it a lot. And then we'll show you the finished product and how to go from there. All right, we got our bread ready. Add a little olive oil to our bowl. And just wanna rub this all the way around the sides, because this is, you gotta remember when your bread proofs, you don't want it sticking to the sides of the actual bowl. This reminds me of the days in the Navy. God, I love telling these stories. So if you worked in the bake shop and you're on the general crew, the general mess.
Bake shop, not bait shop.
Yeah, the bake shop. We probably average, it's definitely deployed, probably like 6,000 dinner rolls a night, plus breakfast like quiche or pastries or desserts. And then the higher you moved up, the smaller your crew got because the people you cook for got smaller. But you were in charge of a lot more stuff. So between the chief's mess and the wardroom, if we had hot dogs and we're out of hot dog buns, we had to make them. Hamburger buns, sandwich bread, you name it, we would do it all. So not shy of baking. Pretty good dough. All right, lightly floured. And basically just trying to create a smooth, oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Okay, you want to pull it taut. Just kind of work it like in a circle, just like that. Okay, that goes in a bowl. Plastic wrap it. Out here today it's probably like 45 degrees, so you obviously don't want to be proofing bread in 45 degrees, so we're gonna bring it inside, let it do its thing.
Which we should mention that you also took your yeast inside when it was in the water and the sugar.
Yeah, it's just too cold outside.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll give it an hour, come back, and we'll start the recipe and everything else. Night night. All right, we got our sheet pan out. Just throwing a little cornmeal out, little corn grits.
What can we see?
This is just actual corn grits. This is going to give it that nice texture on the bottom that we come like accustomed to, you know? Just a little extra. I like it on my pizza too.
On the bottom.
Yep. All right, so here's our bread. Nicely proofed, doubled in size.
Smells delicious.
Smells like bread.
Smells like a bake shop.
All right. Pulls away from the bowls nicely. That's a good sign. And now we're just going to work it into a loaf. You want to be careful at this stage. You know, you don't want to overwork your dough again. So it's going to need a little flour. I've got some right here. Okay. Now you want to make sure your loaf is pretty much uniform, because you obviously want it to bake even. All right, just like that. Take a tea towel. We're gonna put it over top, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. Then we're gonna pop it in the oven. Getting close. All right, while our bread's proofing for the second time, we're gonna go over the list of ingredients for the sauce that I'm making. We got some of the tomatoes, some basil, some garlic, just a little bit of tomato paste, some olive oil, some onion, and I love these sweet cherry peppers when it comes to a sauce like this. It just adds something that goes above and beyond, I swear, bomb. Let's get a little prep done. I'm gonna get my garlic ready. I'm gonna get my onion ready. Let me show you what we got over here. We're working on the Traeger today.
Took the hood off.
We've taken the hood off. There's been some comments, and I knew they would come. I tried to address them. You do not have to have power to run your flat rock, right? There's no cord attached anywhere, as you can see. You do have to have a battery for your ignition, just like you would on a couple other pieces of equipment. But right now my griddle is on, and there is no power cord attached to it. So for the people that swear up and down you have to have power, that's over with. I want to get back to this recipe because I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Let's get the sauce started. Separate the bulbs, smash them, remove the skins, and just start chopping. I kind of like the chunky garlic. That's up to you. As for the onion, I just took a large sweet onion, quartered it, take the skins off, and then I'm looking for a fine dice. All right, this side of the flat rock is on high. I've got medium and low to be able to pick up some of that heat to be able to go transfer. You have to have your griddle a little bit hotter to be able to transfer that heat. We're gonna start our onions and get those translucent. Give it a minute, then we'll add the garlic.
When you say transfer the heat, what do you mean?
Because your griddle is not meant to heat up another source. Your griddle is meant to be the source. So you can imagine your flames underneath have to heat the flat rock up to a certain temperature. Then that has to transfer the heat to another pan. That's why I've always felt like deep frying on a griddle is extremely hard, because you don't have the advantage of having that fast recovery for the heat. And so when you use a skillet like this, if you had your griddle on low, then let's say your griddle stays at 320, 350. Once you put a pan down, it's extremely hard to get that heat constant enough to be able to cook something in a skillet. All right. I like a lot of garlic in my sauce. That's a personal preference. You don't want to add your garlic first. Obviously, you're worried about it burning. We're just looking to make the garlic just a little bit tender, knock the rawness off. It smells so good, we got the police coming. All right, one thing I can tell right away is typically on a flat top grill, it's got edges around. You guys know that the flat rock is set inside. The handles are staying extremely smooth or cool. There's really no heat at all except right through here. So I like that. That's a pretty cool feature right there. I'm gonna start chopping these up. I like it rustic. I'm not looking to make it smooth. Obviously you can add crushed. I like the chunks of tomato in the sauce. Bob has been honest. He's a commenter that's been commenting since like day one, says we need to use fresh Parmesan cheese. So I've got the heel of the Parmesan right here. I'm just gonna add to the sauce. It's completely optional. All I'm looking right now is just kind of reduce it a little bit. I haven't had anything else. Onions, garlic, and tomatoes, and that little bit of Parmesan rind. All right, while that's going on, our 20-minute timer just went off on the bread. So I've just got an egg for a little egg wash. I'm gonna use it since I'm dredging some chicken later, then I'm just gonna keep using that same egg. All right, just brush it nice liberally. Don't want to put too much pressure. Then I'm just gonna make some light slits. It's basically more for presentation. Sesame seeds optional. In the oven goes at 400, and we're gonna shoot about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, we're reducing nicely. Before I add anything else, salt, pepper, tomato paste, anything, I just want to be able to taste it, because you've got to be able to taste your food. You have no idea what to add unless you're tasting along the way. And they're good like that. About 5 sprigs of basil for me, and then tomato paste. I'm looking at maybe a tablespoon. It just adds a little bit more deeper tomato flavor. It'll thicken it up just a hair. And these are those sweet cherry peppers I was telling you about earlier. I'm just going to seed them out. I'm not a big fan of the seeds. I just think they're fantastic. They add just a hint of sweetness, and just a rough chop on these. All right, we just have some small chicken breast right here. You can tell that some parts are a little fatter than others. Not a problem. We're just going to smash it out, make it a little bit bigger. Use whatever kind of mechanism you like. You definitely want this thin because we're going to bread it and fry it on the griddle. Something just like that. All right, we're reducing nicely. See how our sauce is starting to thick up? That is a perfect tomato jam to go on a sandwich. Holy smokes. I'm gonna let it cool. I ain't no fool. All right, dredging station. We pounded out our chicken. We have egg wash. And then we're gonna have, to finish it, some seasoned breadcrumbs. And to season it, we've got parsley, which adds absolutely zero flavor, just adds color. Little basil. I'm gonna throw some crushed red pepper down. Good amount of garlic. Good pinch of salt. And some fresh black pepper. Flour is gonna be straight flour. And then I'm only gonna lightly season our chicken with just a little bit of salt. All right, simply just want a nice light coat of flour. This is going to be our glue for the eggs. You don't want a lot, just dust all of that extra off. Light coating, okay? Just like that. Right into the eggs, same thing. Shake off the excess. And then right into that seasoned breadcrumb. We're gonna do the next two just like that. All right, with just a little bit of patience and time, while you're working on other things, you can see that we've reduced nicely. It'll continue to reduce as we're cooking other things. As of now, the whole griddle's on low. Without further ado, there we go. Nice, fresh Italian loaf, the seeds, the slits. My kid absolutely loved it yesterday, so this is gonna be our base.
So did your wife.
For the chicken Parmesan sandwich.
I could not stop eating bread.
Turn this up to about a medium. We're gonna add a little oil. Remember, we're gonna be shallow frying, so we're just gonna let that heat up just for a second. Put a small pull down right there. Shake off that excess. Just like that. Another pull. Now from this stage, we're just going to simply start frying the chicken, doing everything we can to our advantage, from moving the oil around on the griddle, moving it back here, watch it fall down, go down the griddle because my deck's shaped that way. All the things it takes to make fried chicken, that's what we're doing. We're keeping an eye on our sauce. If you guys make bread or the first time doing it, it's almost like meat. You want to let your bread rest. Trust me, trust me, trust me, it gets softer as it sits. All right, it's time to flip. Just give it a couple seconds, let the oil heat up. Oh yeah. Woo. Oh yeah. Like all your chicken, you want to make sure you cook it to their desired doneness, at least 160. All right, for the mozzarella, we're using whole milk mozzarella. It's already sliced, but we're gonna slice it a little bit more. It actually looks pretty good. We'll leave it just like that. All right. Just kind of tear it. All right, I'm just gonna dome it. Allow that heat to come back inside of it, melt that mozzarella, and it also keeps that chicken warm. You gotta be able to elevate it off the griddle. If you guys are interested, I know we have a link for this listed down below. It's one of my favorites. Pick whichever one you like. That's up to you, but you got to have something similar to that. It really, really works. You can use it a lot of times. All right, the cheese is done. Melting on the chicken. I got some reserved garlic. Come in here and just trying to eyeball it. Maybe like one portion. Show you guys the inside. I'm going to completely cut it in half. Okay. Whoo. That looks good.
Okay, we gotta try this piece though.
You want to try this?
Before we move any.
On camera with
Yep.
butter.
I mean, you probably don't even need butter.
Letting your bread sit is huge. You got to let it sit. That moisture inside of there is almost like the idea of a steak. It helps keep your bread moist.
Here, I just want mine without butter.
Oh, you savage.
Boy.
You want it toasted or not? I think you need to because of sauce.
It's good.
Plus, who doesn't like a little more garlic? You could put this on the griddle if you wanted to. Really, there's no rhyme or reason. And we're just gonna start moving it around. The griddle's now on low. Just let that bread absorb that butter and that garlic. Oh man, it smells so good. This is a long time coming. Whew. But I think the wait is going to be worth it. If you want to pick up a loaf at the store, I ain't blaming you. But if you want to make it from scratch, just look at that bread talking to you. All right, enough of that. All right, here we go. That beautiful tomato jam. If you actually make this from scratch and you want to add pasta, that's when they add pasta water, because that starch from the pasta comes off and it helps thicken it up. So if you ever reduce it too much, that's why they always tell you to reserve that pasta sauce or the pasta water. Now remember, this is just a portion of one.
Ha.
You want to go two? We'll just go two.
Want to?
Yeah. Let's not ruin a good thing trying to force the meat on there. All right. Might just add just a small spread down. And there you go. The homemade, from scratch, chicken Parmesan sandwich. Hey, sometimes you want a cheap method. Other times... Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, how do you even... The bread is just so dang warm and soft. All right, now it's your bite. Then I'll tell them what I like about it while you're making all kinds of unnecessary noises for the camera. Trust me, they hear it. They hear it.
Oh man.
First thing you get is fantastic. I mean, you get everything. The chicken, is starting to lose its crispness. That's why I didn't add the sauce to the chicken, because I want to try to retain as much of that crispness as I can. I like it. The bread is fantastic. It's warm, it's soft, it's chewy, it's crunchy because the bottom. And then you get the sauce. It's one of the best sauces I think I've made from scratch. I'd be interested in playing around with it. The peppers kind of pop a little bit, but that is a fantastic everyday sauce. I don't know how much it could change with somebody from teaching me. This sandwich is an absolutely home run. All right, guys, if you're interested, we have a membership.
Hey, I want another bite.
Well, let's eat inside. We're gonna have something to drink. If you guys are interested, we have a join button down below with the membership program. We thank each and every one of you for taking time for doing so. It really helps out the channel. We cannot express our gratification enough. Check us out on the Griddle group on Facebook. So we talk about griddles, where we talk about food, where we just make stuff like this, and it comes out fantastic sometimes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button. Pound the notification button. Share it with your friends.
Did you say gratification?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that all right?
I don't think that's right. Gratitude.
Yeah, that one too. Man, you need a little dipping sauce like that right there. Let me show you how good this bite is.